All right, I want to look today with you at a couple of differences between the law of sines and law of cosines and when you know to use each one. First of all, in both these triangles, you will notice that in our description, the angle B set up is opposite from side B. The angle A that's set up is opposite of side A. And the angle C is opposite of the side C. So that's how they're named as they're set up. The same is true for this triangle here on the right. The difference is we use the law of sines when we know an angle and the side opposite of it, and another angle and the side opposite of it. Okay, we have to know 3 of those 4 things to use the law of sines. To use the law of cosines, I'm going to know that I need to use the law of cosines when I know a side and then a side next to it. And I usually know this angle in between, and I'm trying to find the other side. Okay, both of these I use when it is not a right triangle. Okay, so these are my tools for triangles that do not have a 90-degree angle. So let's look at number 1 here. In this first one, I know the angle that's 50 degrees, and the side opposite of it is unknown. But then I have this 60-degree angle and the side opposite of it. Because I have angles and sides opposite, it's going to be a law of sines problem. So my equation is going to look something like this. The sine of 50 over the side opposite of it equals the sine of 60 over the side that's opposite of it. And now that's an equation that I need to solve. X is on the bottom, so I'm going to cross multiply here. I'm going to multiply those two and multiply those two and set them equal to each other. So my equation's going to look like this. Now I need to get x by itself. It's being multiplied by the sine of 60, so I am going to divide by the sine of 60. Okay, and then I'm just going to write this out, and then I'm going to show you how to put this into your calculator. Okay, that's my answer. That's my exact answer, but I want to get a good decimal approximation. So let's see if I can do this correctly. The district pushed out this bookmark to your, nope, can't do it correctly. They pushed out this Pearson bookmark to your iPad. It's helpful because, yep, that's what I want. Because in it, you can choose, it's what it is it's a link to the practice MCA test. You're not going to take the practice test, but it's helpful because it has the calculator in it. And then I can use the calculator if I don't have a graphing calculator at home. So the first thing I need to do before I use this calculator is to make sure that it's in the right mode. Okay, so I want to click on my mode here and put it in degree mode. And then I'm going to hit second and then mode again to quit out of it. Then I'm going to type in 10 times the sine of 50. I think I can scroll down here. 10 times the sine of 50. And then just divided by the sine of 60. And when I type that in, that's going to give me this decimal. I want it rounded to, let's say, 3 decimal places. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go 8.846 units. Okay. So that shows you how to put it in calculator, the calculator side by side. Maybe I'll do the rest of them and show you as well. Okay. Number 2 here, when I look at this, I have a side, and then I know the side next to it and the angle in between. So that's going to be law of cosines. So I'm going to write out my law of cosines formula. A squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times b times the cosine of angle C. And I guess instead of an x, I could have put a c there, but same idea. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. It doesn't matter whether 8 is a or b. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 8 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times 8 times 10 times the cosine of that angle, 70 degrees. Okay, then I'm going to go to my calculator and I'm just going to type that in one long string. I'm going to do 8 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times 8 times 10 times the cosine of 70. And I'm going to write down what x squared equals. I'm just going to do 3 decimals, 277, because the number after the 6 is a 7, that 6 rounds up. And then I'm just going to take the square root of that answer. So my side length there is going to be approximately 10.454 to 3 decimal places. Okay, again, I could tell that it was law of cosines because I knew two sides that were next to each other and the angle in between. All right, this one here is, let's see. I know this angle and the side opposite of it. And then this x is opposite of that angle there. I don't know that, but I guess I could find it by doing 180 minus 120 minus 20. Yeah, that angle has to be 40 degrees. As soon as I know that angle, I can set up using law of sines because I know sides and angles opposite. So I'm going to do sine of 40 over x equals the sine of 120 over 27. And then I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to take x times the sine of 20 equal to 27 times the sine of 40. X is being multiplied, so to get it by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by the sine of 20. Okay, and then this expression is what gets typed into my calculator just like this. 27 times the sine of 40, close that parentheses, and then just divide by the sine of 20. And that's going to give me my answer for x. Oops, but that's not the sine of 20, is it? My mistake. That's 120. So as I was doing that, that should be 120. So I'm going to go back up here. My mistake. Sorry about that. I thought my answer was a little bit too big. Yeah, my side length should be 20.040. Because this, I missed that. I thought that was a parenthesis all the way through here. That should have been 120. My mistake on that. Okay, let's do, I got a couple more here. When I look at number 4 here, I have two sides next to each other and I know the angle in between, so that's going to be law of sines. Even though this is an A, that's going to be acting like the unknown side, like the x or the c in my equation. It's really interchangeable. So I'm just going to do, I'll do x squared to avoid confusion. I'm just going to do 6 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 6 times 8 times the cosine of 95. So I'm going to go here and I'm just going to type in 6 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 6 times 8 times the cosine of 95. And that gives me what x squared equals 108.367. And then I'm just going to take the square root, and I'm not even going to go back and type that in. I'm just going to arrow up. And it gives me my value that x equals 10.4099. And if I want 3 decimal places, I look at the number after this 9. I look at this 9. So that's going to make that round up to 10.410. Okay. And then one more to look at here. Again, in this situation, I know the two sides next to each other and the angle in between, so that's going to be another law of cosines problem. So I'm going to do x squared equals 15 squared plus 32 squared minus 2 times 15 times 32 times the cosine of 112. So I'm just going to go and type that in, 15 squared plus 2 times 15 times 32. And that tells me what x squared is. And then I'm going to take the square root of that. So x is going to be 40.108. Okay, so I hope this helps you realize that you have this calculator on your iPad, or how to put things into your calculator. But also, I watched the old lady try to use technology. Yep, not working. But also, how to use each how to do each type of problem, and how to decide when to use law of sines and law of cosines. Thanks for watching.